Hello again, everybody. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. And if you are returning, welcome back. I do have some new subscribers over the past couple of months and even the past week, I think. So thank you very much. Hello and welcome. I am a mystic, and my name is Sabrina. So I've mentioned that rather than changing the name of this channel, because it would be like starting over, I don't quite yet have 1,000 subscribers. I'm just going to keep it the same name that it is. That is the name of my Facebook page related to this channel, Casting Cauldron. Also X, I'm on X, Casting Cauldron. And I have a Facebook group, which I'm calling Dreams and Kinetic Powers. I might change it to just kinetic energy and dreams. And today this is my little cauldron. Okay, your oil warmer can represent a cauldron, and then the oil that you put on it will be what you're using. But I, of course, am using my cauldron to create my oil infusions, which I'm going on my second year of actually practicing and making oils. I started several years ago, and I opened an Etsy shop. That shop was actually completely closed yesterday. I had everything in limbo for a while. They kept insisting I owed $2.50. So a lot of things take like 30 to 60 days to process or get out of the computer, get in the computer, change or get out, you know what I mean? So I just paid it and said, okay, that chapter of my life is finished. I got it started. I gave it a name, Apothecary. So now I'll have another apothecary, but I'm going to focus more on oils that have red sandalwood. So it will be considered a high quality premium apothecary for oils. If you've been following me and you know me, I do take care. I'm conscientious about my work, whatever it is that I'm doing. I don't buy just any old stuff and throw it in. I was buying organic, locally grown flowers, herbs, spices, and whatever resins I can get that are organic if I can, and creating my own incense blends. But now I'm just focusing on oils. So in my last video, I talked about clearing for prosperity. This is very important. I think it's overlooked. The second phase of the moon, the darker phase, as opposed to the illuminated phase. That is where most people focus on manifesting or illuminating or maybe even seeing what's coming up. But I've had many insightful dreams that show me what's coming up under a waning moon or a lunar eclipse. Doesn't matter what kind it is, penumbral, partial, full, I can still have those. So today I wanted to get on really quick before I go to my regular day job and talk to you about the dark moon. The waning moon that I had recorded my first video on a Sunday was actually already entering the second week of a waning moon. That week has already come and gone, basically, and today is Friday, and it is the complete onset of the full moon. And I believe it's been in Taurus for several days. This is a very earthy sign, so it can be about the body, it can be about all things related to the body, right? And of course, it also relates to Venus, which has to do with things that are attractive, things that smell good, things that feel good, comfort things, right? So, in working under the waning moon to tie up loose ends, this has probably been one of the stronger waning moon phases. because the nakshatra Revati has been in play. In Vedic astrology, Mercury is, well, when I look at my Sky Tonight app, I can see Mercury is in Pisces. And as I just posted on my Facebook page, Casting Cauldron, this can bring communications in dreams. The dreamy sign of Pisces is artistic but also spiritual. So this can work in that emotional, mental, spiritual way where you could have dream share, dream visitation, conversation with someone in dreams. Could be an ancestor, could be someone who comes to you as sort of a guide and gives you a word of knowledge, and it helps you clarify something and move on. This is clearing. And this again is what Ganesha is about. So when you're calling on a deity to help you with clearing so you can see a path, you can get through the fog and the debris and actually have a clear vision of where you're going, then this is why I'm dedicating the oil to Ganesha. And beautiful picture that ChatGPT has made for me. So I am going to start working on a second store so that I can have the premium red sandalwood oil infusions with the deity, Ganesha, and of course some goddesses as well. Now, for those of you who've been following me, you know that I've decided for several reasons to go back to the Hindu temple here in town, and I was successful in finally meeting a priest who had been assigned or invited and paid to stay here for at least a year. So I told him about my connection to Ganesha, but I also told him about the dream I had in which I connected to Shiva. It was all very mysterious. But basically what he said was, these things happen to put us on the path. So I began to go to Hindu temple and join in on the festivals and learn everything I could. And I didn't want to get overwhelmed. So I basically just started with Holi, and then Ganesha's birthday came. So I got to be in the beautiful big celebration of Ganesha. Someone had created a disco ball. I had taken pictures of it in videos. And there's a picture of me standing next to the statue. A gigantic, big, black carved statue of Ganesha from India was consecrated for 45 days. And the temple has wonderful energy there, guys. It's a gigantic, sacred space. Okay? And it is only for people to come in and commune and get together for fellowship and eating afterwards, but also connecting to these incredible energies that can help you. And it all starts with Ganesha. And eventually you may feel a connection to Shiva. But, you know, I still go back to Ganesha from time to time because Ganesha has the incredible, wonderful power of clearing the road. Shiva's energy, I found, is different. It's liberating in the fact that you've come to so much inner clearing that you have understanding, right, of whatever it was that you didn't understand. Now you understand, and you feel liberated from it. This is what Shiva is, the liberation. So then we start again new on the next thing. Now, I've joked for several years, call me slow, but it's taken me all this time to realize Ganesha is about the waning moon and the dark moon. And in fact, Ganesha and Shiva are very much lunar centered. Their pujas and festivals are centered around the lunar cycles. So now I told the story of Ganesha in my previous video on Ganesha and the color red. I was in my red shirt. But the dark moon, I had an opportunity to join in this particular puja for the dark moon, and it was called Amavyasa. And this is generally done during Diwali, and the goddess Lakshmi is brought in, who is the goddess of prosperity. Her name means sign to prosperity. Maybe even road to prosperity, which of course corresponds to Ganesha. So, and a lot of times you'll see pictures of Lakshmi with Ganesha. So we seek to have balance, and a lot of the stories about Ganesha are about seeking to find balance. So during this Amavyasa, which is the dark moon, during Diwali, where we also bring in Lakshmi, we sat on the floor and Darshan brought out the book that has the stories in it. I think it's Upanishad. And I listened to the story. And by the time he got to the part, well, I'll tell you. Ganesha goes to a festival, probably Diwali. And he's coming home, and he's had lots of fun and lots of food, and he is very, very full, and his belly is very big. And the moon starts making fun of him. Look at you, Ganesha. So fat. You ate so much you can barely walk. Things like that. Mocking him. Well, Ganesha let his ego get the better of him. And he got angry. He got very, very angry. And he said, I curse you to have 3 nights of darkness forevermore. Now that is the story to help us understand the way the world works and why the moon goes dark for 3 days. Probably so that we don't get frightened and think it's the end of the world. Now in shamanism, we have a lot of stories like that try to help us understand the world that we live in. But also, why an elephant-headed god? Shamanism. Shamanism is the oldest spiritual practice known to man on the planet. Our connection to the natural world and all of the animals is a very big part of that. Why? Because we are human animals. We are relatives to the animal kingdom and all of nature. But we have the ability for higher reason, higher reasoning. So there's a message in this mythology. The message is, don't let your ego get the better of you, and don't overindulge. That is really the message. Sometimes we don't miss it. Sometimes it gets over-explained and analyzed, and it gets very confusing. But the connection to Ganesha, obviously, is for healing, helping us to deal with things that need to be dealt with, need to be cleared, need to be looked at, need to be examined, need to be faced, right? Face the facts. Let's figure out what we're going to do here. And sometimes some very hard decisions need to be made. So with Mercury and Gemini, the nakshatra that is there is Revati. Revati is not bad, depending on who you listen to, okay? I got this information from Joni Patri, but endings are necessary. They're a part of life. Every day, the day you lived, ends. and we go to sleep and we're in a type of stasis like a dark moon, and then we reawaken and we begin a new day just like a waxing moon. So Revati is about this energy that is very strong right now, I would say, in helping people come to realizations and conclusions, tying loose ends, realizing what needs to be finalized. You're finally over something, something is finally done. Now's the time to rest. For many, many years, believe it or not, since I was a very young lady, I felt the energy of the dark moon, and I just wanted to stay home and kind of just bum around, and rest and do very little to almost nothing, really. That is what the dark moon is for. The dark moon is for resting and connecting to all of that dark energy and even the stars, so that you can recharge, rejuvenate, rest. And then have the energy to begin again under the waxing moon and work on your new goal. So this is not the time to actually be starting anything new. I am not opening my Etsy shop under the dark moon. I am putting the name, maybe putting up a banner, creating a listing of my first oil, but I'm not publishing it. So I would say either lie around and think about it. I think about things in my head first. I plan them in my head, I visualize them in my head, and then I implement them. Depending on how tired I am this afternoon, I may or may not get on my computer and just name the shop. And it's going to be Casting Cauldron, premium, handcrafted oil infusions with red sandalwood primarily. ChatGPT is helping me figure out how to word it. So, my first time out, I was just making several different types of oils and a couple of other things. But this time it's going to be much more special because I want it to be. Ganesha is very special, and it relates to red sandalwood. I also chant over them, guys. So these are going to be ritually charged. They're going to be energetically charged. I'm going to chant over them, and then I'm going to play chants for them to be charged. Water can definitely, any liquid can definitely hold an energetic frequency or an energy, right? Now, why is Lakshmi there? Lakshmi is there in order to have an energy that will assist you when the moon is waxing. So the goddess energy is there in the background, even when you don't see her or acknowledge her. It is a part of this system, but I would definitely encourage you to go ahead and bring her in. I do have a little tiny Lakshmi statue. She's sitting on a lotus candle, and I could bring that in for today, like they do on Diwali. But the dark moon comes every month, so not only can you use the Ganesha oil on an oil warmer and anoint a candle or put it in whatever type of a diya you might make for the red sandalwood fragrance, but you can also bring in Lakshmi. This is a lunar related practice. It's just that on Diwali they say it's stronger. But we still have some very strong energies right now that are assisting us. And it's better to acknowledge whatever it is that needs to end. Whatever it is that's happening at this time, When we are in denial, it doesn't get better, okay? It's more difficult when the time comes that it needs to end. So this can help you realize whatever it is that needs to be dealt with and taken care of sooner rather than later. So the dark moon can be used for calling on justice, but it's primarily used for meditation. So I would say meditate on your goal. Think on the next thing that it is that you want to do, what you're moving towards, how you're going to do it. Rehearse it in your head first. And then in a couple of days, when we have the first sliver of light showing up on the moon, you can work towards making that a reality in the physical world, such as putting my listing up and finishing the settings and publishing it out onto the internet, into the world. So whether you bring in a deity, a god, or a goddess or not is up to you. But like I've said, we all live under the moon. When you try to manifest something under the waning moon, chances are you can get, like I said, I have in the past received discounts, found out something was on sale, and was able to get something taken care of in that way. But it did not bring money in 24 hours. The only way that that could happen was to actually have the price of the thing that I needed to be on special to get it taken care of. So that's how it works. You cannot work against nature. I mean, you can walk against the wind. And hopefully at some point you realize you're walking against the wind. Why not go ahead and look at the cycles of nature, the cycles of the moon, and work with them? In this way, our struggles are fewer and farther apart. So this has been 22 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and end this here. Please leave a comment or a question. This is a goddess-based path, a nature-based path, okay? Just like Wicca, nature-based spirituality, the goddess is brought in for balance. You need both the male and the female principles to create life and to have balance. So namaste, blessed be, and I will see you soon.